Hello, I'm Mr. Burton, and in this video we're going to be looking at the non-price determinants of demand. So from my other videos you should hopefully know that the demand curve is downward sloping, and demand is the amount of goods and services that consumers are willing and able to buy at any given price at any given time. So for Nike shoes, for example, if the price here is P1, we know if we go across to our demand curve and down, we know that the demand for Nike shoes at this price level will be Q1. We also know that if the price goes up, the quantity demanded will go down, and if the price goes down, the quantity demanded will go up. But what we want to look at in this video is what factors might actually shift the demand for Nike shoes to the right and shift the demand for Nike shoes to the left at any given price level. Okay, so first we need to actually see what the factors are that could shift demand to the right or left. Now, in the real world, there are many factors which might shift the demand curve. The ones that I would use in an exam, my top 6, I would put under the terms of STIPper. So the first thing I'm going to do is run through what those are, and then we're going to look at how they can shift the demand curve to the right or the left at any given price level. So the first one we have is S, and that is seasonal, so seasonal factors that can shift demand. Then we have tastes and preferences. Then we have income or consumer income. Then we have price of other products. And then we have changes in population. And the last thing that can shift the demand that I like to use is advertising, particularly with examples such as Nike shoes. Okay, so let's have a look at how individually these factors can shift the demand curve. So let's take seasonal changes first. So imagine we are in the winter months and we have lots of people buying Nike shoes. At this price level, the quantity is Q1, as we can see here. So what happens then when suddenly we get into the summer months? Nike trainers, as you know, are maybe a bit hot to be wearing when it's the summertime, so it's possible people will go and switch their production to sandals in the summer. So for no other reason than the seasons have changed, we've gone from winter to summer, the demand curve for Nike shoes may shift to the left. Okay, so we may have a shift to the left because we have different seasons, and then at the same price level as before, we now see that the quantity demanded has actually gone down from Q1 to Q2. A better example to use for seasons is stuff like ice creams. In the summer, let's say the demand curve is at D1, and then we get to the winter months and suddenly the demand is shifted to the left for ice creams because no one wants to buy them anymore, simply because it's now gone cold. So the demand curve will shift to the left, and at the same price level as before, there's now a quantity demanded gone down. Okay, so now let's look at taste and preferences. So let's imagine with Nike shoes, suddenly everyone starts to love wearing Nike shoes for whatever reason, and the taste and preferences, let's say for Nike shoes, has risen. So the taste and preferences has gone up for Nike shoes for, again, whatever reason really, and at the same price level, because the price hasn't changed, we suddenly have a lot more people wanting to buy Nike shoes because everyone's taste and preferences have risen. Now there are reasons why that might happen, but we know that at that price level then, because the price hasn't changed, there is a lot more quantity demanded for Nike shoes. So that's Q3 from the original of Q1. Okay, so a very important one next. We are going to look at income and how that affects the demand curve. Now, income can affect the demand curve in two ways depending on the type of good we are looking at. As income rises, if we're looking at a normal good, if income rises, then the demand curve will shift to the right. And that is simply because as incomes go up, we're able to buy more of the same good at the same price level. We have more income to spend on that good, so we are willing and able to buy more. So the demand curve shifts to the right. However, if the good is a inferior good, so let's say inferior goods could be own brand foods at the supermarkets, if our incomes go up, then we no longer want to buy these own brand inferior goods. So if it's an inferior good and our incomes rise, then the demand's actually going to shift inwards, it's going to shift to the left. And at the same price level, we're going to actually want to buy less of the inferior good. So with incomes, it depends. If we're looking at a normal good, shift right. If it's an inferior good, shift to the left. Okay, another important one is price of other products. And again, this depends on what type of other products we're looking at. For example, if we're looking at substitute goods, then for example, Adidas shoes, if the price of Adidas shoes rises, and so Adidas shoes are now more expensive, if everything else is equal, then the demand curve, we would say, for Nike shoes is going to shift to the right. Okay, so Adidas shoes have gone up in price, they are a substitute good for Nike shoes, and so consumers now want to buy more Nike shoes. Nike shoes haven't changed in price, so consumers are going to switch to buying Nike shoes and they're going to shift their demand to the right. But what if it's a complement good? Well, that will change it. So if we're looking at Nike shoes again, imagine the price of laces has gone up. If the price of laces for shoes rises, then we will see a shift to the left of Nike shoes. So the price of laces has gone up, so we have to spend more on laces for our shoes, so we have less income, so the demand for Nike shoes is going to go down to correspond with the price rise of the complement good. Okay, the next one is population. If the population grows, if there's more people in an economy, if we have the same price levels, we're going to see a shift out from D1 to D3 because there are more people in the economy, therefore more demand for products, even though the prices haven't changed at all. So if the population increases, we will see the demand shift to the right, more quantity even though the prices stayed the same. Okay, the last one I'm going to go through for that I would use is advertising. Now this one is really important with Nike shoes, clearly, because you can probably see adverts for them all the time. If there is an amazing advertising campaign, maybe there's celebrity endorsements within the advertising, and there's lots of TV adverts around for Nike shoes, that's going to capture consumer demand. And even though the prices haven't changed, people are going to want to buy more shoes now because they have been subconsciously influenced to buy more Nike shoes. So we would say if advertising goes up, spending on advertising by the company, let's say, then the demand curve for that product is going to shift to the right. And there's going to be more people willing to buy that, so the quantity demand is going to go up at the same price level. So hopefully that rounds up everything in terms of the non-price determinants of demand. So we have all of these factors here, and if these factors change at all in an economy, we will see shifts in the demand curve. At every given price level, there will now be more, if it shifts to the right, more quantity demanded, or if the demand curve shifts to the left, at every price level there will be less quantity demanded. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe below and comment for any other topics you want me to cover in my next videos.